YouTube again. So this one is playing, always on top. So today we have a request of creating some guitar sounds. Hello everybody. I'm gonna tap. Can you hear me? Hear me? Aha. Yes, it seems to be. We have audio. That's cool. Yeah, I had a request from Winston. He showed me a YouTube video. Somebody created a kind of guitar sound using this silent synth, and he said, well, is this possible to do also with Predator? Definitely, it's possible to do. And it triggered also some other ideas I like to try out. Or we can do this with Predator-2. But also maybe with B.I.T we can do this. So more a guitar sound. Of course, we have inside loud. Is it loud? So the sound is loud? Or is my voice too loud? Loud and clear. Okay, that's good. Okay, so microphone is here. And so the title is wrong because normally when you go to YouTube, you've set a title, but now for some reason it works again differently. It's always fun with YouTube, but whatever, I can change the title of it, of course, afterwards. I'll make it a live stream about making a guitar sound. And I started already, so the question was by Winston, who is in the chat room. And of course, we have, which is a pretty famous guitar sound, but it's more a muted one, in Bluetooth, which is using CSI, this guitar groove one, this more muted one, a very full sound, which is using the sequencer here. And this one uses FM synthesis, so that's different compared to the example YouTube video that Winston did send me, which was from Silent, which is a virtual more subtractive analog type of synthesizer. So here FM is used. So you see starts with a sinus, modulated by oscillator B. Then you got more a mellow guitar and then A to B. So this is more a muted type of sound, but that's not the sound Winston made. So I did dive into Predator. Let's open this. So I created this one. So let's open it. Here it is. And even have a second row, which is playing the same synthesizer. So here you can see it in the sequencer. This is the this one is more the so maybe the solo mute is maybe even more, but I combine them together. And I wanted to do also some other things to make it also with B.I.T, but let's start from scratch and simply use this groove here. I'm going to be flipping around a bit with the pages. Okay, so here it is. And you see, let's try Mute Guitar 2, it's called. And so I will make this one, also save it as a preset so that you can download it in case you own Predator-2. So down here. You can hear it. It's pretty real. I use a bit of distortion here to give it a little bit of edgy sound. And let's tell a bit about the background in creating a guitar sound or a string sound using a classic virtual analog machine. So what I did in the past using an SH-101, I always made also this muted kind of sequences, and if people know maybe the B.I.T Peru or Nova, that you can hear these little sequences. And for a string sound, the pulse waveform is very useful. So here you see the square waveform, and symmetry changes the symmetry of this waveform. They also call it pulse width. And let's see, let's see if I put up. So here you can. So it's a baby. Here you can see that it is a square. Maybe I should go even more down. So you see it's square. Maybe I can make it static. And then by changing the symmetry, or what they call on an analog machine or virtual analog machine, they sometimes call it still pulse width. You change the width of this pulse. Hear that? So this is the square. If you have a pulse and the pulse is set to 50%, you have a square waveform. So a square waveform and a pulse waveform with 50% are essentially the same. And for making string sounds, making this more thinner, then you get the string type of sound. So this could be very nice, for instance, for a bass, for more acoustic bass. Okay, I need to be. So here that's like a Fender bass. Here that's more for string sound. So also a harp sound, the small pulse is better. And of course for making these guitar sounds. Of course this is too low. So for with a traditional subtracted analog machine or virtual analog machine, creating a guitar type of sound, you need to have this square waveform and with a different symmetry setup. So okay, so what I did is playing a groove. So now I need to make it more a guitar. Of course, the guitar doesn't have sustain, so I'll make it shorter. And then I need to search for the right character. So another thing you can do is, of course, adding, because if you plug a snare, it has a bit of a percussive tone to it. And we can produce this by using an envelope. And we put the envelope on the pitch of this oscillator. So oscillator 1, here we have semi 1. So that's not good, it's too slow. But to generate this plug sound, we make it very fast. And of course, keep in mind, if you use pitch modulation with an envelope, and you have the amount open, always keep the sustain at 0. Otherwise, you detune it. Because if I know, open the sustain, yeah, it changes the pitching. So this adds a little bit of the guitar hitting. And of course, then now I need to see if I can use a bit of the filter. I would pick filter 2. Let me see how that sounds. Filter. And now I already have a percussive sound. Now I use a bit of high pass filter because to remove a bit the body from the guitar. Aha, you hear? This pulse width modulation. Not modulation, the pulse width, the pulse. Okay, you see it? So now it's getting closer to a guitar, because if I go too much to this, sound is gone. It's nice sound, but it's not the guitar sound I'm seeking. Somewhere. Here I have this little Stratocaster. And then then of course you can add some modulation. Yeah, that's a matter of trying it out. So I'm here just fiddling around. You need to fine-tune it to get the sound. Of course, this I would call save preset, and then rename it, because the other one was a bit better, but it's all in these little things. Rename preset 1. Let's try mute guitar 1. So let's compare this one with the other one which I had. That was, where is it? This one. It's a bit darker. So it depends on the taste, of course. And if I put on this other track which is below it, so this one I play this sound lower here in this range. That one is even more realistic than in the upper range played. So it also depends on the range where you play. So let's play this one again. So let's try the other one. So this one is shorter, what I just made. Also nice. So with the high pass filter, I can make it a bit more. No resonance filter, maybe here. Now then it gets too much of a synth. Yeah, the distortion, there's also a pre-distortion which I could use, which is here. Of course, this is pretty dry, and I think the pitch envelope is a bit still not fast enough. So that's better. And of course, a bit of a delay always helps, isn't it? So that one is already better. Preset, so I have now 2 of them. Of course, they're not the same as Winston requested. Most likely that one was still different, and it's no fun for me to make it 100% the same. Okay, let's see. It's a bit too high. Let's see if I can change that. So the upper sequence, which is this one here, this high. Could also be an option. Or I changed this key tracking a bit. So it's also where you play it. So this is already, again, a bit better. So we have 2 of them now. Preset, let's try mute guitar 1, and we have let's try mute guitar 2. Interesting, both sounding a bit different. And also here with the other one, which I prepared this afternoon, you see that the symmetry is also on a different spot than in the other one. That one is a bit further. Okay, let's go to the chat room, because I might miss some of the chat room guys. Okay, let's see. Yeah, a slap or pick bass. Yeah, definitely the same system. Definitely that will be the same system. Sounds almost like a funky French house riff. Yeah, cool, isn't it? So yeah, even in the past, we did these. I did this way of making the more plucked sounds, so the guitar sounds. In the bit, it's a square. Yeah, it's a good point. We can make this all. Oops, sorry guys. We can make this also in B.I.T. So let's start B.I.T. because there's a square. So it's a basic sound. Here is it. And here you see it has the symmetry. 50%, double click is 50%. You see it's a square. And here we need to change the symmetry of the square to get the same what we did now in Predator. So let's give it a try to make this sound somewhere. Other filter type. Maybe I should try here 12 dB filter. So let's give it a try. Oh, maybe 12 dB latency, 0 latency. Let's see, just play around. Okay, still sounds more like a clavinet now, so we need to make it different. Using also the high pass filter. I need to select filter 2 for the high pass filter, 12 dB high pass filter. So because the original bass guitar doesn't have that amount of low end. I don't like this filter. I take another one. 12 dB. Of course, I need to create this clicking, this punch, added to this sound so that it has the so I will do that with a pitch envelope. We have of course here the envelope from filter 2 which is not used, so I could use that one, or simply go to the advanced panel, that's another option, and use here the tuning and open. Maybe it should be even more, and that's a nice trick. So I have the envelope in the first oscillator, but I also can use it again, oscillator 1 envelope, and do it on top of the other one, and combine it. Global, no, oscillator 1, semi-tune. Yeah, more clear. Not yet the sound I'm seeking. Now it's a bit more. And of course what I could do to make the kind of phasing sound, no, not use that one. Let's try unison. Let's see. Not really the sound I'm seeking. It's not yet there. Okay, maybe it's also the groove I'm playing, so maybe that's the whole problem. Let's give me a second. What I can do simply copy the groove I used on Predator-2. Copy that one over to B.I.T. So we had this with Predator-2. And now let's see. It's totally different. This. Now it gets closer. So it's also the groove you play. Now the distortion is not doing. Just a little bit. Maybe should take another filter, 24 dB. Not really as a maybe a bit. No, that doesn't do anything. A bit of modulation, pitch modulation. So this is so far I get it with it's a bit hard one on this one. Maybe it's down to the distortion which you can add, which is of course not inside B.I.T. B.I.T. has amp distortion, but there's always one certain type of distortion. So this is maybe a second oscillator can do some magic, but I don't think so. Give it a bit more aliveness. Yeah, that's better. That's better. But now it sounds a bit like a chorus guitar. Velocity. Okay, I keep that one. Save preset as kind of guitar. Okay, yeah. So I'm now in the middle of editing, and let's see if we can compare this again with what we have with Predator-2. Totally different, isn't it? The one from B.I.T. is a bit higher in tone. This was version 1, version 2. So maybe the B.I.T. should have been a bit more darker. Let's make it a bit more darker. It's just a matter of taste also. I think it was okay. It's more brighter guitar. Of course, we could add some chorus to it. Not bad. So I save it as this one. So you see all kind of different type of things you can create. So we have two presets with Predator-2 and one with B.I.T. So I also did try with B.I.T. And if I play now, you hear how much different this one is than compared to the Predator-2. I think the Predator-2 can be a bit louder. Okay, why is it not? So especially down in the lower more play range. It's very nice. And I think it's the combination also with a bit of distortion. So this one is really nice. Of course, I need to tag it. A set category. I'd say percussive sound, of course. Bright. It's just not bright. It's normal. Bit of FX. So I need to. It's a synth sound because we don't have guitar as a type. So it would be a synth sound. Apply and save and this one, it's the same, synth, percussive, also with a bit of, okay, that's the other one. It's really, I think it's very nice, especially down here. It's pretty realistic. So let's see if people agree in the chat room. Bit is Fender. Yeah, that's a good point. Try a flanger on it. Yeah, could also be cool. Another thing would be the wah-wah. It's also interesting. So what we can do, wah-wah, and yeah, the drums are, somebody's asking what the drums is. The drums is punch. If I'm not wrong, of course it's punch. I'm not sure if it's punch 1 or punch 2. Well, it's punch, the original punch. Haha. It's from the Voltage Disciple, one of the presets, which you also can find inside Punch 2, of course. 12, 1-inch house 12. I'm not sure if I did edit it, but it's a very nice groove. And so, yeah, about the wah-wah, that could be an interesting option. Maybe here in this groove, let's see if we can put that on Predator-2, because it has a lot of FX. So I go to the second one. So could try out the wah-wah. Nice. If you go over the FX, you can with the right mouse over FX or control mouse with a Mac, and then you can see you can swap FX1 with to copy FX, swap FX2 with FX1. And now I first have the wah-wah. You see, first the wah-wah and then the delay. And in the wah-wah is also a delay, by the way. So let's go to the original. Other option is to use the second filter. So it's now I use the notch filter would be maybe nice. Notch filter. Not that much of a result. Bandpass. Let's try the bandpass. And of course the sound is not anymore guitar. That's a little groovy, isn't it? If you go to the start, that's the LFOs in free mode, and it modulates the second filter here. 12 dB low pass, LFO amount open here, and it's tempo synced, and let's see. the guitar sounded more. And now again, it's the guitar. Okay, so another idea that's what triggered me is because with the guitar, if you play the strings, you gotta start strumming effects. And I wanted to do this. So I keep these two presets as they are. I make them downloadable, preset 1 and 2. And then my idea was, okay, we have the one from B.I.T. and then we have here this one. I wanted to try out to use the strumming and to automate it to add a strumming idea, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work out. So we have a default sound, and let's see what it plays. So I need to make very fast again a guitar, so I put again the pitch envelope of oscillator 1. High pass filters. I'm going to work very fast now. Maybe a bit of spread. No, not really. Sounds a bit thin, but bear with me. We should make it a guitar. So distortion. Maybe I should go to the other preset to do this, because with strumming, essentially I do it the wrong way. I should have one note. 1 second. I need to do it different. So let's go back and pick the right preset which I had, which was because that one succeeded pretty much okay. No, I'm totally in the wrong bank. No. Oh, let's mute it too. So I put them in these banks. So now I can, okay, now I can use chords. Here I can chord and use, let's say 4. It jumps automatically and of course I need to create a chord. So let's make it a minor one. The first one is the root. Of course you cannot change that because it's the root key, which is now in keyboard G1. G, okay, 7. So you hear that? Okay, so now it plays strumming. So I can even make it tempo sync, but that's what I don't want to do. I want to so let's see how that works. So now I need to play one note. So let's see what I make of that one. So I play one note and that note generates MIDI. So now strumming, you can use it dynamically, and of course it's, maybe I should pick a different note setup. Maybe that one should be more here. Okay, on the 15th, let's see how that plays. So that is how you could use chord for making different types of grooves again. So, oops, sorry for me for messing up here the screen. Strum root plus octave. Yeah, maybe an octave above. Yeah, that could be to make it a bit more realistic. So I could even make it 5. Maybe it's also to combine with synth. Let's play. A nice thing is you can also pan it, the notes. This would be, of course, if you have a kind of weird stereo guitar. What would do so that may be a nice trick, or maybe or without the fifths. Yeah, so yeah, many options from that point. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it. It's try to remove the fifths, Rob. Okay. Well, I can remove it, so I don't have to try it. It needs to respond to me. Resistance is futile. Okay. So something like this. Let's see how that something you can do on your own. So if you take this, let's try mute guitar, click to original, click here chord and select 3 or how many you like to have. It jumps over to the screen automatically, and then you can adjust the notes and yeah, give it a try with strumming and sync. Okay, somebody had a question in the chat room. Yeah, microtonal scales. We add these to all the plugins, instruments, except for RG, because RG has sampled chords from guitars. So if you go to the back panel, you can see here the preset tuning is 440 Hz. You can make it fall 3/3 if you like, or 4/3/2. And you see here we have different tunings, which you can load. Arabic, Burmese, Chinese, Indian, Persian, Standard, Thai, Turkish. So these are inside of it. And we add this to all the products of ours. Okay, so about can you control the wah-wah with modulation wheel? Definitely. That's anyhow no problem with our instruments. So if you use the modulation matrix, you can use the modulation matrix, and destination you could use anything, and you see it included the FX, which then are active. But wah-wah also sounds a bit like a I think a bandpass filter. So even if you could maybe use on this one, so let's try this to make this with a modulation wheel. So we have this groove here again. The second one was still the best I like. So maybe still again the bandpass filter. Not really. Okay, I'm changing now the wrong synths. 1 second. I'm editing one sound. This one. Yeah, now it's just one single note playing, of course. So yeah, maybe you could do wah-wah effect a bit with a bandpass filter, or maybe simply but essentially, yeah, you should be able to control the FX as well. Okay, so because I use twice the same sound on twice the same instrument, so that confused me a bit. Okay, so let's go back to the chat room. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, we have this page about the micro tuning. So if you go to B.I.T, there you will find the same, and it's also in the back. So if you click on the logo, you always go to the back panel. And what we do in the future, by the way, is maybe you see this on the homepage. You have these little 3 lines. And we will make in every plugin now 3 lines in the upper right corner where you can select the size of the user interface, which also appears in the preset section. But also these kind of things maybe would be handy to have to go to the back panel. And you see down here we have also the tuning, and yeah, there you can adjust it. Okay. So let's back to the live stream. Maybe I missed a few sound questions. Save it, please. Maybe did I miss something? Save it, please. Oh yeah, maybe I missed something. 1 + 12 + 5. Okay, let's go back and try that again. So with the strumming, Winston has this idea to have. So I take again the guitar 2, 4, and he did mention. Okay, let's open again the screen. 112 + 5. Okay. Open 12 5. But it's only 3 notes. The main. So what would you? it depends. This song, maybe the other one would be better. But yeah, you see, with this whole unison, you can do some interesting things. And there's a complete bank, by the way, with if you go to the main folder, a bank manager, and you go before to Ambient, there are clusters. I call them clusters. You see, here is also the and here's strumming used. You can really, because of course you could also play the chords, but it adds a different taste to it. And we also will use this system, by the way. We're working very hard on Blade 2. We will use this system also for Blade 2. So with Blade 2, you normally, if you want to have the chord, you need to select record, play the chord, and then press play. And of course, this one is far more nicer, more easier to control. And here you can make each voice go. And keep in mind, when I hit one note, it plays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. So in the Ambient 108 Ambient 2 bank, some nice bass sound. And so yeah, it's this strumming and this chord memory is a very creative thing of Predator-2 and essentially of all our synthesizers. Okay, let's go back to the can you lock strum? Hey, that's a good, interesting idea. No, not yet. It's possible to lock strum. No, not. I do to lock the sequence, but not strum. That could be an interesting idea. Maybe something we could do for Blade 2. I need to write that down. Lock strum. That could be an interesting idea. So here's the in the advanced chord page here you can see. By the way, there's also panning, but also velocity. You can make also if it plays the sound that in velocity is a bit different in terms of percentage. Yeah, this is all amazing programming by John Iris. Of course, I think a lot of creative ideas, but he has to code it, and most of the time is that I throw an idea and then he throws some additional features to it. So I did throw the idea about the chord memory some time ago, and then he adds some additional cool features. If you go here in chord, you can save a chord. So if you have a nice setup, you can still save it, but there's no lock function currently. But it would be an idea. It's always something cool to improve our products. September, October. Yeah, September, October it will be. It's going to be very cool. Has a lot of features. It's again a very powerful synthesizer. If you know Blade, you have the harmonizer and you can use the XY. But there's a second mode which we call additive, and then you can use the XY to go between 4 of the additive waveforms, which you can edit and change. And yeah, there's some very cool stuff inside of it. And of course, we do the ratcheting. We introduced that with Blade 2. It will have a very extensive sequencer. It's going to be very cool. And hopefully in September, October, we will release it. And in September, most likely, I can play a bit already of it. So I will not show it, but we'll play it. Okay, I can see also ABC of beat makings. Yeah, cool that you are here. For the French people, if you speak French, if you're French, or he has some nice tutorials in French language. And yeah, okay, guys. About this stream, it has the wrong title because it's all about making kind of guitar sounds, these plucky sounds, which are very often used in dance music. And yeah, I created them with Predator-2 and B.I.T. So I will put them in the download section. The one of B.I.T was not fully as I wanted to have it, but that's always with creating sound. Sometimes you hit it very fast, and sometimes you need to tweak and keep on tweaking. So the B.I.T is indeed a bit more like a Stratocaster. What is also nice, by the way, this kind of stuff is also nice to do. That could be done by an LFO. Okay, let's pick an LFO. Pick an LFO, so let's make a variation. So let's go crazy. Using a source, the free LFO, and I put that one on the amplifier decay. Of course, I need to put it on sync and make it also the case that we have it in free running mode. You hear the difference? So I can press here bypass. So this is it without the modulation of the LFO in free mode. Tempo synced on the decay. And you also could combine that then. The LFO you can open also here. Of course now the guitar sound is gone a bit, but maybe on the high pass. Nice, isn't it? Well, I save this one. Save preset as guitar mute synth sound. Synth 1. Even on the amplifier has an LFO. Nice. Let's see if we can make it our chorus is active. Yeah, wheels phase or not. But these are things you can do at home. Or maybe it's cool to have a flanger. Watch this. Because the flanger is tempo synth, and it even resets if you start on the ding, and then you get really. And you see in the upper part, you see the readout will tell you what is the tempo. So it's now 2 bars. So that's something you can do. So I make this one also available. Nice. Make it a bit darker. So that's also something you can do in a sequencer. So you see the modulation wheel is already addressed the filter, because that's what I like. Is that the modulation wheel now? Close it. It might be that this sound is a bit too thin to your idea, but this one would fit very nice into the music. Of course, you can shut down the high pass filter, which makes it then fuller. But sometimes, like this, can work. So this one I also will make available, save preset. So we did some guitar craziness. Okay. If Bluetooth has some flutes, Dream Studio. Yeah, the Enigma flute, that's a shakuhachi from the Emulator 2. We use that also ourselves in the studio. It has flutes, but not that one. I had recorded, sampled myself a normal dwarsfluit, we call that in the Netherlands, this side flute, but I still need to loop them. It's a lot of work, and that's something we might add in Blue 3. But the shakuhachi, this typical Japanese flute, this sample, yeah, it's very typical from this emulator machine, which Sledgehammer from Peter Gabriel, and of course Enigma used this. It's a very famous sound. I like those deep bamboo flutes with lots of reverb. Yeah, that's a pan flute, I think. Of course, we have inside Blue 2, we have, which I think, but this is more space flutes. If you go to this bank manager, which I like, which I think it's in here. Let me see where I have it. Let me see if I find it. I put it somewhere. Not really. Okay, synth leads. I think there's a pan flute. The pan flute are here, which are of course bamboo. This is a bottle. It's a very nice flute with an overtone, velocity switch. So you can make it really spacey by having a bit more delay, mix the reverb. You can make it insane long. So this is like in the mountains, Himalaya, up in the mountains. Yeah, very spacey, isn't it? But there's also a sound, if you go to the introduction bank, I say that also because there was a very great sound by Jamal. If you shut down one of the oscillators, you got a really nice space flute. I need to see which it was again. This one. But this is more a synth space flute. And this sound is using chord, which you see here in play mode. Only you don't see the notes, which are, so if I put it up. Spacey sound. So with Blue 2, I think one of the live streams I mentioned in Blue 2 that sometimes you run into a great sound simply by shutting down one of the oscillators or multiple oscillators. Okay, guys, we had a nice live stream. I see there's no question popping up. I would, yeah, let's meet again next week. If you may be late in this live stream, you can watch it back in the playlist live streams, and I will adapt the date because the date is wrong in the in this thing. And of course, I will upload the B.I.T guitar sounds, these two synth sounds, and the ones from Predator-2. So if you own them, you can download them and use them. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, thumbs up. And by the way, you can subscribe to my channel, but if you click on this this little icon, this little bell icon, then you see far earlier that I'm live or if there is a new video. Okay, thanks for watching. Keep well and enjoy